When is it okay to call yourself an artist? Is it when you sell a few pieces of work? Is it when you make a full-time living from it? Is it when you're represented by a gallery, or when you've had a well-attended solo exhibition? Or is it simply when you spend time, when you can, creating art because you love it? I'm a sucker for taking advice from a few podcasters I admire, and Sarah Tasker encourages us to call ourselves what we do, and it doesn't matter if you never make a single penny doing it. After all, if you pot it in your garden every weekend, you'd call yourself a gardener. If you love going on long walks up mountains, you'd call yourself a hiker. And so, in a fit of rare confidence, I spontaneously changed my Instagram bio to include the word artist. It said, writer, artist, fairy tale dressmaker. And about 2 weeks later, I chickened out and changed it again. Right now, I say I create art, and that's fine with me for the moment. Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. I've done something, and I'm not sure if it's one of the best things I've done or could potentially be one of the most annoying things I've done. I've bought a new desk for this room. Now, there's not really room for a desk in it. It's to go here, next to me here. Sorry about this. Oh, this chair is so creaky. It's not good. It's not a good YouTube chair. Well, I'll show you the a bit more of the layout in a sec, but yeah, so next to me here, that's where I wanted to go, because at the moment I've got my desk here. This is my writing and editing desk, and what tends to happen is this is where I do my art as well, but there is not room for it here. There really isn't. And I do it here because quite often I'm copying a photograph that I have up on my computer screen, but Chris has got himself a new iPad, so I've got his old iPad. I've never had an iPad before. I haven't really got on with it. I like a laptop. I like the solidness of it. iPads just feel too flimsy, and anyway, I thought I could use the iPad for my photographs, which I can then have beside me at the desk here, so I don't need to be quite so close to my computer screen to see the reference photograph. So that will mean that this can just be my writing and editing space, which would be so nice, because what usually ends up happening is there'll be something left behind. Like, for example, I've just looked down, there's a glue stick. There's a glue stick from when I was crafting the journals, and you know, bits of paper as well that haven't made it as far as my scrap paper drawer. So it'd be nice to separate this space from a art and craft space. And of course then, actually let me just show you. I mean, as usual, it's all messy again. I feel like there's a time lapse in every video of me tidying up, so there's no point in pretending that this is always nice and clean and tidy. So this is my sewing area, but in order to finish this book I needed to lay it flat, and I was cutting around the fabric. There just wasn't space over there, which is my writing desk. So I had to push back my sewing machines as far as I could and create a little bit of space here for that. So the other advantage of having another desk is that this can stay as my sewing space. Yeah, the desk, there's a pile of magazines on the floor and a few other bits and pieces, is going to go here in this space here. And this is quite nice because that is my view, which is just lovely. It'll be even lovelier when I trim down those rose hedges. Even on a drizzly, miserable grey day like it is today, that's still a lovely view. I mean, look at that expanse of sky, and at this time of year, if we're lucky, we might see a little murmuration of starlings go flying past. So I'm really happy with this view. So then I can use my sewing chair, which is here, and just twist it round and face this direction. So I'll be facing, you know, kind of looking out the window, which is how I love it. So the desk arrived today. I only ordered it yesterday, it came from Amazon. I'll keep you updated as to whether it's any good or not. It's got a 45-degree angle tilt, which is what I was looking for. Yeah, I've never got on with an easel at at school and at college, I need that wrist support. I think when I'm drawing and painting, I don't get on with being able to. I can't seem to get the hang of painting like with no support there. it just doesn't come naturally to me. So I wanted a table with a tilt, and oh my goodness, it took me a really long time to choose one as well. I've been choosing for weeks, and oh, there was a beautiful, well, it might still be there on eBay at the moment, but there was an absolutely beautiful vintage wooden drafting table, and it was only in Bath. I could have gone and got it, but it was too big, just wouldn't fit at all, so I had to choose a smaller one. Modern, I couldn't find a vintage one, and this was the only one with a nice wooden coloured surface. I don't think I could get on with the stark white. Anyway, I'm babbling on about this. I'm really quite excited because this feels like a acceptance, I can't think of the right word. Acknowledgement, that's it. It feels like an acknowledgement to myself that I'm going to take this artist thing seriously. I'm not going to do it just as a hobby. I'm going to do it with a thing in mind to be able to call myself an artist, and that's quite exciting. But first, I have to do some more clearing up behind me. All that behind me is going to need to go, because otherwise this desk is just going to be really annoying. It's going to get in my way the whole time. So yeah, I've got quite a bit of work to do. Wish me luck. Well, I've done quite a bit already. Lots of moving around and extra stacking up, but there's still quite a lot to do. Look at this. Look how much floor there is actually in this room. Look at all this floor, look. And now I'm going to cover it up with a rug, because sadly, as much as I love this old floor, and I always notice this whenever I have a tidy up, is the sound from Chris's study downstairs. It's just horrendous. It's so loud, and Chris talks so loudly when he's in his Zoom meetings. So I'm going to put a rug down. We've got one from the living room that Chris doesn't like, so it's going to go in here instead. It does seem a shame to cover up this floor, but it is just pine. It's not like it's a posh Victorian floor. It's very much a cheap Victorian. Actually, it might be Georgian floor. So it's not like I'm covering up particularly special wood. But even so, it does seem a shame. But again, another but, it might brighten it up. We shall see, because it's a pale rug. So yeah, that's next. Okay, change of plan. The rug is absolutely flipping filthy. So I'm going to put this through the washing machine before I put this out on my floor. And also, chairs on casters don't mix with flimsy little rugs. So I either bring the rug right out to here, or I have it sideways, which looks a little odd. So I'm not sure about it now. I'll put it through the washing machine overnight and see what I think in the morning. If you don't have a straightforward job that's easy to define, it's tricky to know what to say at a social gathering or at the doctor's. It's happened to me twice there recently when they ask what you do. I always flounder with that question, as I spend so much more time on marketing in one way or another, like this, than actually making anything. So even though I wouldn't yet call myself an artist if someone were to ask me, inside I feel like an artist. I think I actually always have done, since right back as a child when I couldn't wait each year for Father Christmas to bring me another sketch pad in my stocking so I could start drawing again. So here we are, here's the finished desk in my room. Yeah, I haven't finished tidying up the room, so it's not easy to visualise what it's going to look like permanently. But I really like it, I really recommend this table so far. I mean, obviously I haven't actually used it yet, but it feels really nice and sturdy. It was very simple to put together, just a little bit fiddly putting this bit on. But it's just the right size for me. I've seen much nicer vintage drafting tables and drawing tables, but they're so much bigger. And I do think that this is going to be just about the right size. So this is what it looks like on the other side. I really don't like this modern pale wood. I mean, it looks silly next to this old wooden table and my stained desk, so I'm going to see how I can stain it. Someone on the Amazon reviews said they have stained it oak, so I might give that a try. Yeah, I'll put the link below if you're interested in getting a table like this. The angle is pretty good. It says it's only 45 degrees maximum, but I'm pretty sure if I put a protractor up against that, it would be more than 45 degrees. But yeah, so far very impressed. It's very sturdy. The only thing I would say is to tilt the table, I had to get behind to get easier access to the adjustable bit. If you've got it pushed up against a wall, that might be a bit tricky. I'm sure you could do it, it would just be a bit more fiddly. And adjusting the height was a bit fiddly as well. I needed Chris's help to get both sides lifted at the same time. Overall, very pleased with this purchase, and I can't wait to get using it. Sorry about the wind noise, and sorry about the random interruption to the video, but aren't those the two weirdest shaped clouds you've ever seen? It's like ginormous chimney smoke coming out of the clouds. And now I have a fancy desk and a linen apron with pockets. I sure as hell feel like a proper artist. Well, I couldn't wait. So the mess is still on the floor, all the packaging from this desk is still on the floor. There's still a lot to sort in this room before this really will feel comfortable, I think. But I couldn't wait to try it. So I have now finished my first painting at my new art desk, which is this sunflower fairy. I think I'm going to call it Beekeeper because of the little bee that I managed to capture in the photograph. I was sort of using two photographs mainly as my source material. The picture of Rain modelling this outfit for Threads of a Fairy Tale. So you can actually buy this fairy outfit, it's still in the shop if you're interested. and also a photo I'd taken of sunflowers, and I caught, just by chance, a bee heading right into the sunflower, and it was totally in focus. I couldn't believe it when I looked at the pictures afterwards. So I had to include the little bee as well in the picture. I do like the painting. It's nothing at all like I expected it to be. I did think I was going to be using lots of different paints and pencils and things like that, because I'm so excited to try out some new things, some new art materials. I thought I'd give them all a go, and then in the end I just tried out the one new thing, which is gouache. So I bought in a box a bundle of art supplies, and amongst it was this new set of Daler-Rowney Simply gouache. Yeah, a set of 24 colours there. I've never tried gouache before, at least not since I was a child, because I didn't realise poster paints are very similar, and I used to buy these little pots of poster paints from W.H. Smith's when I was a kid, and so I have used them, but a very long time ago. And so I bought this set. It was like this bargain box. Where's the picture of the cover? There you go. There's the picture of the cover, so you can see it if you like. But I looked it up, and it's £15 on Amazon, but I was looking at a review on YouTube, and oh, I can't remember who it was. This lady bought this exact same set from B&M Bargains. So if you're in the UK, it might be worth popping over to there if you're after some reasonably priced gouache to give a go, because she found it for £5. She paid £6, and then she saw it was reduced to £5 for a set of 24 12ml tubes. I don't know how you can possibly sell paint that cheaply. So, but as I've not used gouache before, I can't really give you a review of these because I've got nothing to compare them to. But generally speaking, I was quite impressed. I don't think they were quite as thick and creamy as I imagined gouache to be, but I loved the vibrancy of the colours. I really did. I thought that they were really nice paints anyway. But I have ordered myself a little set of 10, I think, posher ones, a Winsor & Newton designer set. So I will give those a go as well so I can compare, but it was quite nice to just try out a cheap set to see whether it was the sort of thing I might like to use. And it is. I do like using it. And then I did a little bit of the details with my Inktense pencils. I did splatters at the end with Inktense paint pan, because you get quite good. I tried splattering with the gouache paint, but it just really wasn't working. It was still a bit too transparent, I think, because you had to water it down to get it to splatter. But perhaps that's because I was using cheap paints. Maybe more expensive gouaches would work better. So I don't know if I'm going to have time today, but I am really excited to start the next picture, because yeah, like I said, I want to try out all these different things and find the one that's gonna be the thing. I really like mixed media art, and I wanted to add more crayons and more, I don't know, more wildness to the picture, and then it just turned out quite calm and serene in the end. So, and also it's also learning about the different, what they're like, because I discovered gouache really easily lifts off the paper even after it's dry. So it's not the best for layering, I found, but I might use gouache in future as a top layer because of the vibrant colours. I mean, I'm so impressed. They just seem to dance off the page. But I might do more, I don't know, crayons and pens, or I don't know what yet. And inks, I want to experiment with inks too. Yeah, I've got lots of fun ahead of me this year. Really excited about this art journey that I'm going on. I really enjoyed doing those watercolour landscapes that I did in autumn last year. They were fun, and I was really getting the hang of that style. But I want to try all the things. I want to try all the things before I settle on the style that I will stick with and work at. Yeah, right, well, first of all, the next thing I'm going to do is cut my fringe because I feel like I'm doing a bit of a Claudia Winkleman and It's got a bit long and I feel like I'm sort of peering at you through my French. Or bangs if you're watching and are American. And yeah, finished clearing this up. I can't keep putting this off. I would really just like to stay here and paint, but you know, it's got to be done, hasn't it? Let's carry on with this room. Oh, and the other thing I want to try is staining this desk. I can't remember if I said already, but it's very pale, looks very modern and IKEA-ish. So I'd rather it blended a little bit better with my old oak, maybe. I've got this old table, I think came from a charity shop, and this old pine desk here that's been stained quite a darker colour. Before I get too much more paint on the surface, I'm just going to see if it will stain. I think that's hopefully a job I will get to later today. Okay, let's get on with it. Help me there. Oh, lovely kisses. So there we have a clean rug. Oh my gosh, what a difference. I don't know how it got so dirty before. Anyway, the washing machine did the trick. It's looking good as new now. And I do like the rug this way round, but we will just have to see what happens with the casters of the two chairs. Perhaps it won't work out and next time you'll see the floor back to normal, but I do like it. It does brighten up the room. Well, it's far from ideal. You know, it's a decent sized room if it was being used as a normal room. As a studio, we've got to make compromises, haven't we? I'll be honest, I'm so lucky to have this room. It's the best room in the house. It's a miserable grey rainy day today and still windy from Storm Eunice. By the way, we were really lucky with that storm that came through. The power was flickered on and off all that day, but we didn't have the power cuts that some of the villages around this area have had. No power for like more than a day, so we are very lucky here. My archway, my willow archway, can you believe it? If you've been here for a while, you'll know how flipping long that took me to make, and I thought it was pretty sturdy, but it was not up to that storm, and it's gone ba-ding, and my archway is now like a, what would you call that? Like a, I don't know, I can't think of the word, but an entranceway like that. So I'm either going to give up on that willow archway and just buy one, or think I'm going to think about that another time. But anyway, it's still quite windy and it's miserable and grey. That was my point. This is the only room in the house with a west facing window, and I've got a big wide south facing window as well. I am lucky because it's the brightest room in the house by far, and it makes a really good studio. But of course I've got so many hobbies and I'm trying to fit it all in to the one room. So the fabric, it's all stacked up high and it's not ideal. When I did that reorganisation, I don't know, about a year ago, and I got all those baskets and really organised all my fabric scraps and things, I deliberately made sure I wasn't stacking things too high, because then you just never bother going to the stuff stuck underneath. So that is not ideal. Oh, and I found on top of one of these baskets, I don't know if you remember, were you watching back last summer when I painted this painting? Well, not painted, it's an oil pastel, and I experimented with using this oil probably is for oil paints rather than oil pastels, but like a thinner. It was like a natural one rather than a synthetic one, and it just wouldn't dry. Honestly, this has just dried. I just found it, and I think I found it like last November, and it still wasn't dry then, and it's finally dried. And so there's absolutely no way I could experiment much with oil paints. I talked about experimenting with different things, different mediums and stuff, and I don't think oil can be one of them, because I have just not got the space to be keeping pictures while they dry for 7 months or something like that. So yeah, it's going to be a work in progress. I did want to have shown you a nice, brilliant, organised studio with everything in its place and space to move around, but it's going to have to be just like a little bit at a time, and hopefully eventually I'll do a proper studio tour and show you everything when I'm a bit more settled and have found perhaps homes for some of the things in here that perhaps don't need to be in here. And I'm looking over here at 2 mannequins. Oh, is it 3? No, there's 3 mannequins just here in front of me that can, if I can find somewhere else to keep them, they don't need to be in here, because they're just used for displaying the clothes. I don't use them to create the clothes. I just need the 2. I need the 2 adjustable ones, and then that's really all I need to keep in here. So that will create some sense of space, but it's not actually going to create any space because they're already balancing on top of stuff. Yeah, we'll get there, and I'm gonna sell some of my fabric. Yeah, I am, and hopefully be back soon with a more organised studio. I'm still getting used to calling it a studio and not my study, but I think it's time. It's fair enough. I can call it a studio. So thank you ever so much for watching and spending your time with me, and thank you for your likes and comments. If you're new here, please hit subscribe, and if you've enjoyed watching this channel, if you've enjoyed watching this video, please share the link with your friends. I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.